This was really a tough one to get through, just because the beating that Hinata is taking is certainly one that makes me wince. That's for sure.
Naruto, number 80, The Outer Limits.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and prospective chunin of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and sometimes heartwarming and sometimes heartbreaking tale of Naruto. Our last couple of chapters, and to tell you the truth, the pattern seems to be about 2 to 3 chapters per battle. At least that's the kind of formula that Kishi has been using thus far in the first 7 or 8 of this sort of, narrowing them down prelude to the actual third phase of the Chunin exams. We see that, obviously, in the previous chapter, we have Neji going against Hinata. And Hinata, even though being, grossly just outmatched, mainly, I think from the cheering on from Naruto on the sidelines kind of gave her some resolve to keep going and to keep wanting to come at Neji, even though she has no chance of winning, or at least that's what it seems like. The chapter wound up ending off with, what looked like some fairly crippling blows. I wouldn't say that he's toying with her, but you can clearly tell that he has just the superior strength, and as much as you like the underdog to win, you wonder how long it'll be before she succumbs to the wounds, and that's how the chapter wound up ending off. Actually, it was with her, basically saying, I'm not going to give up. That's not the shinobi way. That's not the way. And with them, and that's right where things pick up, and with them, the best I can tell from the Hyuga clan is that, he's got a chip on his shoulder because of the fact that no matter what his skill level is, he's always going to kind of be like that second tier underling, underdog of the family, of the clan, right? And he envies and is jealous of her status within it, especially because being in that main part of the clan, that main part of the family, that main strain of the Hyuga clan, but not having any great accomplishments under her belt makes it even more. It makes him hate her even more. Really, that's what it seems like to me. So this chapter was. It was a little bit difficult at times to read, and only because even though I don't know Hinata that well, I know, and the one thing that's very good about the artwork, Kishimoto has a great way of being able to convey not only the motion when they're fighting, when the shinobi are going at one another, but just, the expressions on the faces, just the look of utter defeat, and, the blood dripping from the mouth and everything. It's just a culmination of all those things. Really, during the course of this chapter, I was going, hey, Hinata, it's cool, honey, just give up, So, really, for her, though, this is a proving that she's worth something. This is proving that she has some. This is the underdog mentality, but instead, or not the underdog mentality, it's the underdog cliche, but she's of the mind that, listen, instead of just kind of packing in and giving up, even though that's what everybody thinks I'm going to do, that's what everybody's telling me to do, and that's what everybody expects me to do, I'm going to do the exact opposite. So regardless of the outcome, for her, it's really more of a freeing herself from her own constraints. That's how I look at it. Maybe I'm looking too deeply into it, and if so, it is what it is. But that is how I see it. I do try to kind of look at these things and try to analyze them from an outsider's perspective, and kind of, try to place myself then into those, the respective shoes of the two combatants, and kind of try to get that feel for where they're coming from. And that's kind of what I see. So, as the chapter winds up raging on, I mean, he's pretty much, Neji all but pretty much cripples her, and she amazingly keeps getting back up. And we can see in this chapter, it's because obviously we know that she has some affection for Naruto, and Naruto, number one, she has seen him kind of go just recently here, just in the Chunin exams, go from the kind of laughed at and lauded, Naruto, to actually, someone that the people are starting to go and take notice of and respect a little bit more, because of his tenacity, because of his quick wit, and because of his resilience in battle, right? Yeah, sure, his smart mouth and some of the shit that he just kind of bursts out with, that's kind of what makes him the maverick, the rogue, but at the same time, she sees, number one, this person that she has all this affection for is now receiving some of that adulation, that adoration, that affection from others, and kind of that recognition that he deserved, and I think that helps her, as well as the fact that he's cheering her on. So since he's cheering her on, she's thinking, oh, okay, well, obviously she likes the dude, and hey man, listen, now all eyes are on me. Now Naruto's watching me. I'm not watching him. I'm not looking to see what his next move is going to be. And I kind of like that. I really like that. I think it's just very, very well done. But again, Neji is just way too powerful, and really just has a big chip on his shoulder. That gets to the point too where they're actually going to step in and stop the match because Hinata's got nothing left. She just looks like she's laid out on the ground. Naruto winds up going and saying no, and kind of interrupts them stopping the match or whatever, And what that does, it winds up giving Hinata an opportunity to go and pull herself back up and stand up. She can hardly stand and hardly get on her feet, but she kind of goes and says, "Yeah, come at me," like that type of thing to Neji. And what I liked about this is that she winds up turning the tables on him, at least mentally. She goes and she says, you say all these things about me. I don't deserve, I don't belong, I don't this, I don't that. But, I'm scared, I'm weak. But really, you're the one that's scared and weak. You're the one that is upset and has a chip on his shoulder and is weak-minded because you feel that you deserve more, that you should have more, and that everything should be handed to you. And really, what's funny is that that is such a parallel to how many people act in life. I mean, if you think about it, and you can take any example you want here on YouTube. I'm sure at school, at work, you see things like this, where you have somebody that feels as if they deserve to have some type of status or something that they don't have just because somebody else has it. Many times they don't recognize if the other person has earned it. They don't acknowledge that the other person's earned it. They don't care. They just feel that somebody has something they don't and they want it, so they got to go and talk about it and talk about how everybody has what they don't. And that's kind of what Neji reminds me of. And again, it may be a character that eventually I wind up coming to like down the road. We'll see what his development is like if and when we see him throughout the series. But really, I don't have a lot of respect for him because after Hinata goes and kind of gets under his skin. Now, remember, he did this shit to her and tried to mind fuck her and mind rape her for an entire chapter. And she just calmly took it, right? And then went into battle and fought, right? She goes and turns the tables on him and flips the script a little bit. And the next thing you know, man, he goes and tries to come at her with this life-ending move. He wants to go and nail her and and stop her heart, right? And some of the other Jonin wind up having to actually step in and stop it. This fight's already over, blah, blah, blah. And, that type of shit to me is unnecessary. It's going too far. You've already won, you've already beaten her, but now you hear something you don't want to hear. And this is after he already mentally demoralized her to begin with, which was unnecessary because there was such a gap in the power level, I guess you would say, So, just my 2 cents on it. Take it for what you will. At the end of the chapter, though, as she's laying there and Naruto kind of jumps down over the rail and comes to her side to try to help her, Neji has to go and get in a remark, too, which to me is classless and just real, I don't know, just something that I don't particularly like in a character. And he starts talking shit to Naruto, saying, well, if you actually had any honor and you were like a shinobi, a true shinobi, you would have kept your mouth shut and you wouldn't have blurted things out in the middle of a serious match and blah, blah, blah. But once a failure, always a failure. And that type of shit, that's the stuff that bothers me. That's the bullying nonsense that you see and that you hear about every day and that many people experience. And again, it doesn't matter what age group or what race or religion you're in. Everybody winds up experiencing it in some way or another. And I don't, that's something that I don't care for. So as of right now, Neji is kind of in my, go fuck yourself list of characters. But who knows? Again, I don't know what his progression is or isn't going to be. Nonetheless, he winds up winning the fight fairly decisively, and even though my heart was cheering on and wanting, Hinata to win, by the time we got to about the middle of the last chapter, and then of course in the beginning of this chapter, I was like, I don't know, it's kind of it's kind of like a fart in a wind now, man. It's I don't know, it's a lick and a prayer. I don't know if that one's going to happen. And it didn't. But for Hinata, though, I think it was a win overall because of the fact that she was able to go and kind of break out of her shell a little bit, in the sense that now, number one, the last thing she sees before she passes out in unconsciousness is Naruto over her. So I thought that was done very well. But I think that overall, what she wound up gaining from this is the fact that now she does have some self-confidence and some self-worth, and she realizes that she can do more. So I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully seeing more of her in the future as well. That's how the chapter wraps up, though, and certainly now we're down to the last few combatants that are going to be left over here. I believe there's one of the Sound Ninjas left. I know that Gaara is left from the Village of the Sand. We know Lee is left, and then I think there's one more if I remember correctly. Well, there is one more. I just can't remember exactly who it is, the name of it. But anyway, so I'm wondering what the next one's going to be, and can't wait to dive into the next one. So my chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is what are your overall thoughts on Neji and just kind of his attitude and how he went about things in this whole fight? Do you think that it was too much? Do you think it was deserved and justified? Are you kind of in the middle? Are you indifferent about it? Let me know what your answer is to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Remember to take a look at my other channels, and as always, thanks for watching.